Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Coaching from the Couch. This is your Washington Commanders update, and I am your host, CWall, checking in. As you know, I love and at this point must do, especially during the NFL season, to give you all the latest and greatest information happening with the Washington Commanders. It was ugly, but is it or is it not a victory Monday? What day is it? What day is it? It is Victory Monday, everyone. And before we get into the Victory Monday conversation, a few housekeeping items, why don't we? This is a live Bowie television recording. Everything we say and do here is going to also be seen on television each and every single day. Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77 if you are in the area, and also known as the DMV. You can check out the Coaching from the Couch series every day, 1:30 to 2:30 during the week. And soon, Saturday and Sunday, it'll be shown before game times at noon. Now, let's move on because there's a lot to talk about. And you want to make sure you are tagging in your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. We already know that Cameron Mingo knows what day it is. Cameron Mingo knows that it is Victory Monday. And as you all are checking in, make sure you say hello to Mama Waller. And you know, Pops Waller always checks in as well. So make sure you give him a shout out. If you're just touching base into the live discussion, make sure you hit that love button and you are sharing this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. Have a lot to discuss, and we're going to take our time and do whatever we need to do to make sure it all gets out. We want to make sure we do that. We want to make sure we talk about the game, just you name it. The game, pressers, thoughts, reactions. So you want to make sure if folks got something they want to talk about, they got to absolutely talk about it now. Get it all out. Because then once we move on, we got to move on. Because the week two, but first, let's go ahead and get into. You already know what I'm going to ask you. If you remember how we do this, win or lose, we ask this question: what's your one word? And it is, what is your one word to describe the game? Thoughts on the game, how you're feeling about the game. And if you have just tuned in, this is the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders update. I'm your host, CWall, host of the show, checking in for Bowie Television. Let's see. One words are coming in. Cameron Mingo has a one word, and he says escaped is his one word. And I see Tina Moore has checked in. Tina, what's your one word? We're going to get some more one words in here. Definitely want to get you all's take on your one words. And see, sometimes I never know what I want to have as my one word because sometimes I have more than one word. But I'm going to tell you all what my one word is. My one word is WHEW. Because similar to what my Auntie Hazel has, yes, it's a victory. But like Tina says, it was very lucky. That was a lucky one there. And Mama Waller says, enthusiastic. Let me tell you all something. That was, talk about a range of emotions. And we're going to get into the day because I absolutely think it's important to share with you all. Before the game, there was a media availability, and it included some of the Washington legends. Two of those, Champ Bailey had a lot of great things to say. Charles Mann said he had some very honest comments, as did RG3. So I want to talk a bit about RG3's comments, but if you are following and are subscribed to Bowie TV at BCMC TV Maryland on YouTube, you'll see RG3's media availability. He was great. He was awesome. And just the note of the day, you got Chan Bailey, RG3, John Riggins in the building to start out the season. Okay, and then let's go ahead and talk about the stars that were in the other athletes that were in the building. And you have entertainers. Wale was there, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid. It was a lot going on. The atmosphere, I've never seen it that way at all. I have never experienced FedEx Field the way in which I experienced it. So having to go through all of those emotions, and at times the crowd absolutely booed, rightfully so. Rightfully so. But I want to get into and want to share with you all Charles Mann's media availability. Then we're going to get into some of my overall thoughts on the game. And then I want to share a couple of snippets from the press conferences. So while you all are tagging in your Washington Commanders loving family and friends and sharing this show, check out this media availability from Charles Mann. And take some notes on this one because he definitely dropped quite a few gems.
It look like it used to look, but it's sure trending that way. Yeah, and it's I think it was a smart move to include us old wily veterans. I think that's always smart. I don't think you can know where you're headed or where you're going to be if you don't look to the past for some kind of. I really think we should be in the locker room having these conversations with the players.
Okay.
But this is a step in the right direction.
Yeah. What do alums talk about when they talk about this team?
Well, in the past, how inefficient they are. Going forward, I'm hoping to be positive.
Yeah.
My wife always says, "Stop telling people the truth." I'm like, babe, I'm sorry. I don't have to, Joe Gibbs isn't policing me.
Right.
I don't have to say they're all tough suckers, because they're not. Some of them are pushovers.
Wait, Conover wasn't a tough sucker? No.
And I just think, we're hopeful.
Yeah.
We're hopeful that this group will turn it around. And, a couple of stats. I'm excited about this defense, but doggone it, 1991. Do you remember what happened in 1991? Remember how many points we scored? Remember how many takeaways we had? You remember how many shutouts in one season?
Right.
3?
Yep.
Do you know that there haven't been any since then? What is going on? What about defense? That's how you win. So, I pay attention to the defense.
Right.
Hi, Donna. Let me just tell y'all, be honest. I'm being honest these days. I haven't watched because preseason is preseason. We used to lose preseason games and then win a Super Bowl. So don't get all hyped over preseason. But everything we should be focusing on is now. You're here and now. It doesn't take 3 years, 5 years to build a franchise. You can build it overnight because there's trades and all kinds of stuff that goes on now. Look, hey, I'm going to talk about prime time because why not? Deion Sanders, look what he's doing. So you don't have to build something over a generation. So we can win today. We can win now. Isn't that what it's all about? I mean, y'all want to remember how it used to be around here? Man, that's exciting to me. That's why I'm here. No, I was saying that the defense is what wins championships. But you can say anything you want, and I know that's cliche-ish, but we proved it over and over again. And so I'm excited about the talent they have in place. And I'm just saying, if you have the talent in place, you got to prove, you got to put it on every week. I don't care if somebody's injured, you plug another guy in. You better have 2 and 3 positions at every position. And if you don't, you have them waiting in the locker room, standing by to be the next one. You're always, Martin Mayhew knows, Martin Mayhew better be pulling the next guy up, having them standing in the ready if a guy goes down. I mean, one guy shouldn't end your season. And I'm telling the truth, and sometimes that can be brutal. But I'm excited. We were excited. And now you got to put up. So $40 million in improvements in the stadium. I can't wait to see that. And other things. Magic Johnson. Hey, Magic is a proven winner. You don't have to say anything else. You can drop the mic. Magic Johnson. But this is football, not basketball, not soccer, not baseball. I don't know how he's going to do, but I'm very excited about it.
Do you have any passionate thoughts about the stadium?
I'm not passionate at all. Yes. I'm in the construction industry. Did I mention that? I'm in construction. Charles Mann Enterprises, by the way. Huh?
You want to build the stadium?
You're putting words in my mouth. I didn't say that. Now I've got to be, walk that line. No. I would love to be a part of it. Oh, kickoff's at 1, y'all. Joe T, who talks more than I do, is telling me to shut up. Okay. All right, I'm going to get ready to wrap it up. No, Charles Mann Enterprises has partnerships, and we're looking forward to maybe having an opportunity. I mean, with whatever happens with the stadium. That's all I'm saying.
So you all, if you have just checked in, know that you are watching the Coaching from the Couch series, the Washington Commanders update. I am your host, CWall, here to bring you the latest and greatest information on the Washington Commanders. Make sure you hit that love button. Make sure you drop a fire emoji, and make sure you are sharing this show with your Washington Commanders loving family and friends. If you want to take a part in the live discussion, everything we say and do here comes on Bowie Television each and every single day. Verizon Channel 11, Comcast Xfinity Channel 77. We also have a YouTube channel. So everything that shows here, all of the clips, all of the interviews, all of the pictures, everything, Bowie TV at BCMC TV Maryland on YouTube. You'll find it. And if you don't, I'll make sure you get to it. Hit that love button. Let me make sure you all know that we are here. Can you even imagine why I wanted to focus on what Charles Mann said? Anybody have any clue at all why I said we need to talk about what Charles Mann said? And then we're going to get into week 1. But what were some of the takeaways of what you heard him say? Because here's the thing. There are some viewers that were not born during the Super Bowl years. So to hear a former player, Super Bowl champion, get right down into it and say, win now, talk about the job Martin Mayhew has to do and all of those things in order to win and like as Tina put in her comment, basically the next man up, all of those things. Talk about preseason. He remembered, as Eric Jessup put in his comment, they used to lose preseason and then turn around and win the Super Bowl. Talked about defense, right? And so I see Eric put that in the chat as well. Refocus on defense that wins championships. It always still matters. We know that this NFL is about high-powered offenses, but somebody's got to stop the opponent from scoring. Someone has to do that. He talked about that. He talked about also the opportunity to share some of these messages in the locker room. Who knows? The new ownership may hear that and say, hey, these guys want to come in and they want to talk. Maybe this is an opportunity to give them a chance to have those conversations. You never know, remains to be seen, but let's get into week 1. Let's go ahead and get into it. Drop in the chat your favorite players from week 1, because yes, it was absolutely ugly, and we're going to get into that, but you had to have some players that you really enjoyed watching. And I definitely want to know which players you enjoyed watching. While we get into that in you all's comments here, let's get into a couple more clips. Let's get into a couple more clips. And I see Cameron Mingo says Montez, Sweat, Tina Moore, the entire defense was impressive. A very impressive defensive showing. So let's get into a couple of the pressers. Why don't we?
What stood out to you about the crowd?
Oh, I love the enthusiasm, the excitement. I heard their disappointment as well. Okay, and I respect that, obviously, because we have to do things better.
What stands out to you that needs to be better?
Well, we got to protect football first of all. And some of our decision making, and again, just I'm going to get a chance to really take a look at the tape and just see the things that we need to focus on and get corrected.
Clearly there's some frustration here, but you look at that first half, obviously didn't go as you wanted, but the resiliency to kind of dig down in the second half to turn this game around, especially late in the third quarter, you were behind and you kind of flipped the game.
No, and that's one of the things that comes from the resilience of the way that they practice. I mean, just something that our coaches have done. I mean, they've preached it, they've pushed our guys. We've had those practices where things just keep going and going, but yet they didn't quit. And that's one of the things that's really cool about it is these guys, they know, they really do. They believe in themselves, but we can't beat ourselves.
Sam was sacked 6 times in this game, maybe a combination of offensive line. Sam, what have you saw? Obviously you didn't see the tape, but from your view on kind of on the sidelines there.
That's exactly it. I'm going to wait till I see the tape before I draw any conclusions. I'm not going to indict anybody. We're going to go ahead and evaluate and look at things.
Coach, what was the mood and the message at halftime?
More than anything else is just, hey, we got to get it going. We got to go out and make plays. And that was one of the things that we all talked about. We talked about going out there, bowing our necks, being resilient, and getting after it. And that's the thing that I think our guys really bought into, especially, when you look at the way the things happen on the defense. They're the veteran group, and they're the senior group, and they did. They bowed their neck. They had our team's back, and they did a hell of a job.
The Arizona Cardinals had 11 possessions. Your defense had either a sack or a tackle for loss, or both sometimes, on 10 of those 11 drives. How important is that for your success moving forward?
That's huge. I mean, because that gives us an opportunity to be successful. It really does. And those guys are, they're just kind of, solid guys. I mean, they get it. And as we grow and get better and better as a team, we'll see.
Ron, how did you think the secondary held up during the game?
I thought secondary had some great opportunities. They really did. They put themselves in position. Unfortunately, we dropped some interceptions. I mean, our guys, you could see them, anticipating, breaking on the ball, putting themselves in position to make those plays. And, we have a chance. We really do with those guys. It would have been great. I mean, I can see those balls, just unfortunately just ricocheting off us. But I really thought they held up. Again, I think what our coach has done with them has been a solid group. Last year you saw the growth at the beginning of the growth, and I think they've just continued it into this year. So hopefully we can continue to get better.
So let's just be clear. I want to share, because I got to share being transparent. I had some bold predictions. Now, other people ask me for bold predictions. I don't necessarily share them on the show, but if I'm in the stadium, if I have to do a quick hit, I had 2 bold predictions. All right. And while I'm getting ready to explain those bold predictions to you all, go ahead and drop in the chat what you all thought my bold predictions were. Okay. Because I'm getting ready to tell you anyway, but I want to give you an opportunity to guess. My one bold prediction that was close, but not really, depending on how you look at it, was that week 1, first game of the NFL regular season, Emmanuel Forbes gets a pick. Matter of fact, takes to the house. Emmanuel Forbes, pick 6. That was one of my bold predictions. So he almost had a pick. Almost doesn't count, but that was definitely my bold prediction. All right. So, and I see something about Sweat. See that my Montez Sweat commentary isn't necessarily a bold prediction because he's been doing his thing and he's just going to continue to do just that. And I see Tina Moore, the Commanders win by a field goal. So it was one about Emmanuel Forbes. One was about someone else that did not perform up to par, in my opinion. I had a bold prediction that Logan Thomas would show and prove week 1. And this was super bold. Super bold. And I'm going to tell you why in a minute. It was super bold for me to say, bold prediction, Logan Thomas is going to stamp his position is tight end 1. And he's going to show off week 1. That did not take place. And I'm going to tell you why this was such a bold prediction. So like bold predictions are really around something that is like, can it happen or can it not happen? Right? It didn't happen. Okay. And I knew that was Forbes, a pick, a prediction. A bold prediction is a pick 6. That's how bold prediction. But at least he's in a position to do that. Logan Thomas, I knew he had missed the entire preseason, but of course, just with the importance of that role and how much each weapon will be utilized in an Eric Bieniemy offense, I said, okay, Logan, you're up. You are up, my friend. And that bold prediction was not. That did not work in CWall's favor, as you all could see. So I'm not going to retire from the bold prediction front. I'm not going to retire. But here's another thing that I want to talk about. And we have to be transparent about these things. You all have been hearing me talk about this player and the amazing OTAs he's had. You've heard me talk about my high expectations for this player. A couple of seasons ago, I was pretty down on this player. But then he came back and recovered, right? He came back and recovered and was doing extremely well. Antonio Gibson. I said, oh. When he fumbled, my heart sank a bit. I said, oh no. And I saw, we remember at one point in time, he was kind of loose with the football, and that's what happened in the game. Then last year, he started to protect it. Here's what Coach Rivera had to say when asked in the presser earlier today about Antonio Gibson's fumble. And it was, I was disappointed because he had made a good cut and it was a player coming in from behind. He just made contact with the linebacker, and as he was coming in, the guy from the backside got it. That's exactly what happened. As I saw it, we all, saw it. He's just got to remember, just like he learned last year, he's got to keep that ball high and tight, and you can't let it drop down. When he's trying to get those extra yards, he's got to protect the ball and lock that second arm onto the ball. And last season, he had gotten it down. He had finally figured it out. Last year it was good. And I have not, let me tell you something else. In terms of the drops, had not seen that in practice. Fumble from AG, absolutely not seen that. So you all have heard me say, because in years past, it's you practice how you play. I want to be honest with you all. The way the team played, that is not how they have been practicing. And if anyone, I may still have that clip, and I know we want to talk about a few more things, but I was in shock in the press box watching the game. Many of us were. It wasn't. I mean, it was a few times that I literally said, "What happened?" And I could only think about perhaps week one jitters. That was a recurring theme, not the week one jitters, but just having not seen the stadium filled at all. And then you definitely had not seen the stadium filled with Commanders fans. And then let's just call it what it is, you all. This new ownership group is bringing a lot of high visibility to this franchise and positive visibility as well. They're not used to this kind of attention. They're used to attention related to Dan Snyder. Everybody called a spade what it is. That's it. That's it. Nobody's really paying attention to the game. Nobody's really paying attention to what they're doing or the way the game went. It's always other topics. It's always other conversations. So now it's all eyes on you. And everything has led up to game day. It really does come down to these new owners have just paid $6 billion for this product. What are you going to do?